Okay, today I'm going to give you one of my grooves that you can do something with and develop it, and then I'd like to talk to you about originality. Okay, if you're beginning or come to the channel by accident, stay with it because I will touch on what is useful, what can be beneficial for you for taking Skype or other types of lessons from myself. Okay, so here's the groove anyway. Alright, okay, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I'm probably best coaching this on a C harp rather than an A harp because most guys will have a C harp available. You can do it when I've got other harps, but some guys, when you're starting out, particularly like to hear the same notation, not just the rhythmic shapes. So, okay, I'll do it on this. Okay, so one draw to four draw, three draw full step bend, four blow, four draw. One draw again, two draw all the way down, and then lift it up to a two draw. But you can use a 3/6 blow if you like. Yeah, was a 3/6 blow, I thought so. You get into the habit of just playing and not thinking about notes at all. Okay, so that's the basic lick, alright, and then we can do things with it and we can then move it about. Move it about again. Or move it about again. Move it about again. Alright, all I'm doing there is I'm just moving positions with the same lick. Alright, so that's something useful to do when you've got a little bit of work under your belt. Okay, so originality. You know, we see on the net now, you know, all these guys mimicking Little Walter and Big Walter and going further back, Sonny Boy Williamson, and further back again into the Sonny Terrys. All fantastic, of course, and yes, people to study, people to look at. But it is important to develop, even from being a beginner, from the first note that you play, to be original and be yourself and have your own style and develop your own style, as these greats did. And the problem that I see is that most people are teaching you or coaching you to become mimics and not go down your own way of doing things. And then they put wads and little squares of phrases into things and teach you phrases and licks in odd ways, which is not a natural way to play. Now, what was impressed upon me as a saxophonist for many, many years as a jazz saxophonist was that ability to become original and be yourself. Because you can never emulate, you know, to the point. It's not truth, is it? It's not originality, and we're looking for truth here. Now, in the past, you see, we had musical movements, and they developed, and that's how music sort of developed and evolved. A lot of that's diminished these days, and we have social media, which is very much taking place of it. And so, you know, like seeing me or other guys on the net, you then take from what you think is correct for yourself, of course. And there's no right or wrong in anything. You know, this idea of you know, tips and mistakes and all that, there isn't such a thing as anything wrong. Okay, you've got to get that concept right as well. What is wrong for somebody to hold one of these things in a certain way isn't wrong or right for somebody else. We just coach particular tips, and that's really important to know. And a coaching point, a case in point is the great jazz guitarist of Wes Montgomery that played everything on his right hand with his thumb. Well, my God, if he'd been through any form of jazz college and they'd they'd shown that any form of college, they'd have absolutely gone bananas that he was playing like that. Now it's a recognised way of, a great way of playing, isn't it? I mean, look at the great Django Reinhardt with a finger missing. Look what he could do on a guitar, for Christ's sake. Okay, so anyway, so if you're beginning on harmonica or intermediate or an advanced player, whatever you want to do, you get me on Harpo the Healer Wix. You can pick me up from that or from anything on here. That's usually where you can contact me direct. And of course, you know, this business about originality. My idea is about coaching. You need individual coaching because every single person is different. Okay, that is crucial. When you weight notes, even if you're emulating off a guy for a while to try and weight a note a certain way, you will still then interpret that weighted note your way. Okay, and you shouldn't be coached out of that. All right, you should be encouraged to go this way, and that is absolutely crucial to be truthful. It's very, very important. And if you want to keep the bug for playing, then you've got to constantly come up with new material, because by that way of doing it, you will play forever. You'll never stop because you'll always have the craving for it. If you lose that and you're constantly on an emulating trail, then eventually you'll stop, no matter how good you get. Okay, that's just the way it is. All right, so that's the idea. So originality, and of course with originality, it's like if you look at art movements, for example, you imagine being at the conception of abstract impressionism, for example. How fantastic that would have been to be involved as that was evolving. Or I'm not too keen on Cubism, but the same thing with Cubism. When it first arrived, it's mind-blowing, isn't it, for the artists to actually come up. It's okay once we see it from further afield, isn't it? But when it first appears on the scene, it's quite incredible. And the same way in music, when you come across these great players. Miles Davis was a fantastic innovator, of course, and he changed the course of music in what he did. And then Coltrane changed a lot of harmonical movements, the way that he did his superimposed over what we call 2-5-1s and the McCoy-Tyner harmony style things that developed. None of that is necessary in blues to know, but we still have to go down an involvement. What I'm trying to say is that in my view, jazz hasn't really moved in movement since around the mid-late 60s. Yeah, they've developed and speak the language. Music's a language in different ways, but they haven't really moved forward. And similarly with blues, blues harmonica hasn't really been pushed. There's two or three guys I've seen who approach things a different way, and that's fantastic. And everybody else is not kind of doing that. So that's my kind of thing that we're trying to get you to do your way. And by going your way, of course, it can't really be criticised, because your way's your way, isn't it? So it can only be criticised from you either like it or you don't, you know? All right, and it's truth. Okay, so thumbs up and subscribe. Lessons, Harpo the Healer Wix, all levels, of course. And guess what? I'll catch you on the rebound.